A few years ago, I had an iPad that didn't work, and so I took it to the Apple store. The clerk was a young man. As I walked in, he said, "Hi, John." I thought to myself, I don't know who this is. He looked at me and he said, "My mom goes to your church. I've come on Christmas Eve once in a while." We chatted, and he fixed my iPad. As I was about to leave the store, I turned and looked him in the eye and said, "How about you come up with an idea? I'll preach on it. If I do, will you come?" He was silent. I said, "Call me by midnight tomorrow." Sure enough, the next night at 11:58, ping on my phone. The words of the text message were clear. How to ride a bike. How to ride a bike? At first, I thought it was a mistake. And then I thought to myself, well, what is the connection between a bike and our spiritual journey, and indeed the church? Well, for me, the bike is my soul place. You see, I ride my bike 365 days a year. Minus 40 is my cutoff. I wear oven mitts as gloves. I sing, I pray, I scream, I laugh, I listen, I problem solve, and I create while I'm on my bike. It is my soul place. And so as I thought of this young man's question, I thought to myself, how is riding a bike connected to our spiritual life and indeed the church? 3 things. First, pay attention. When you ride your bike, you have to pay attention to the signs. Be awake. As my daughter says, you have to have laser eyes when you ride. I have ridden my bike when I haven't paid attention. I've actually landed in wet cement. I've hit parked cars. I've landed on my butt many more times than I could count. Paying attention saves lives. You see, the United Church of Canada is best when it pays attention to the world, to the vulnerable and to the hurting in the world. Over the past 100 years, we paid attention in the world, speaking up for women's rights, LGBTQ+ rights, Indigenous rights, and human rights, and more recently, climate justice. A relevant faith pays attention. Jesus calls us to a relevant faith, and he did so in his ministry in the public, in the streets, away from the temple. In the recent United Church initiative, A Place at the Table, it's about paying attention to who is at the table and who's not at the table, who is included and who's not included. Our paying attention is key in the United Church values that drive our church: deep spirituality, bold discipleship, and daring justice. These call us to pay attention. Paying attention is also the call of the contemplative. We listen to the divine by paying attention to our breath. Secondly, when you ride your bike, you can't hold your breath. You have to breathe. You can't climb hills if you're holding your breath. I know that life can take our breath away when we fall, and it's hard to breathe. I've had many personal losses, failures, and struggles. The sudden death of my brother at a young age, the ending of a marriage, a struggle with addiction. It has been difficult to breathe at times. Finally, we need to enjoy the ride, or as the Creed said, celebrate God's presence. Jesus said, "I have come that you might have life and life abundant." I believe God calls for abundance for all. There is enough for all if we dare to share the load and the road. Lately, I have come to appreciate and trust the doctrine of providence. For me, providence is defined as divine care for all. Not perfection, but presence. God provides divine presence for us all. As Psalm 139 says, if I make my bed in heaven, you are there. If I descend to hell, you are there. There is no escaping God and God's presence. The manual of the United Church of Canada calls a moderator to quicken the heart of the church. I love that call. It's a call to humility and to grace. And so I call the church to pay attention, to be relevant, to breathe deeply, to trust God, to enjoy the ride, to celebrate God's presence. Friends, we are not alone as we ride. Thanks be to God. Amen.